Yamuna Tira, Yamuna Tira, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Srila Prabhupada ki all glories to Assembly Devotees, all glories to Assembly Devotees, all glories to Assembly Devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna, thank you all for joining today's morning Bhagavatam class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24, verse number 41. Please repeat after me. Maitreya Uvacha Evam Samaditastena Kapilena Prajapati Dakshini Kritya Tamprito Vanam Eva Jagamaha. Maitreya Uvacha Evam Samaditastena Kapilena Prajapati Dakshini Kritya Tamprito Vanam Eva Jagamaha. Maitreya Uvacha Evam Samaditastena Kapilena Prajapati Dakshini Kritya Tamprito Vanam Eva Jagamaha. Maitreya Uvacha Evam Samuditastena Kapilena Prajapati Dakshini Kritya Tamprito Vanam Eva Jagamaha. Maitreya Uvacha Evam Samuditastena Kapilena Prajapati Dakshini Krityatam Prito Vanam Eva Jagamaha. Maitreya Uvacha. The great sage Maitreya said, Evam, thus, Samuditaha, addressed, Tena, by him, Kapilena, by Kapila, Prajapati, the progenitor of human society, Dakshini Kritya, having circumambulated, Tam, him, Prita, being pacified, Vanam, to the forest, Eva, indeed, Jagama, he left, Ha, then. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Sri Maitreya said, thus when Kardama Muni, the progenitor of human society, was spoken to in fullness by his son Kapila, he circumambulated him, and with a good, pacified mind, he at once left for the forest. Going to the forest is compulsory for everyone. It is not a mental excursion upon which one person goes and another person does not. Everyone should go to the forest, at least as a vanaprastha. Forest going means to take 100% shelter of the Supreme Lord, as explained by Prahlad Maharaj in his talks with his father. Sada Samudvigna Dhyam. Srimad Bhagavatam 755. People who have accepted a temporary material body are always full of anxieties. One should therefore not be very much affected by this material body, but should try to be freed. The preliminary process to become freed is to go to the forest or give up family relationships and exclusively engage in Krishna consciousness. That is the purpose of going to the forest. Otherwise, the forest is only a place of monkeys and wild animals. To go to the forest does not mean to become a monkey or a ferocious animal. It means to accept exclusively the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage oneself in full service. One does not actually have to go to the forest. At the present moment, this is not at all advisable for a man who has spent his life all along in big cities. As explained by Prahlad Maharaj, Ritvatmapatam Grihamanda Kupam. One should not remain always engaged in the responsibilities of family life, because family life without Krishna consciousness is just like a blind well. Alone in a field, if one falls into a blind well and no one is there to save him, he may cry for years and no one will see or hear where the crying is coming from. Death is sure. Similarly, those who are forgetful of their eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord are in the blind well of family life. Their position is very ominous. Prahlad Maharaj advised that one should give up this well somehow or other and take to Krishna consciousness and thus be freed from material entanglement, which is full of anxieties. Translation once again. Sri Maitreya said, thus when Kardama Muni, the progenitor of human society, was spoken to in fullness by his son Kapila, he circumambulated him, and with a good, pacified mind, he at once left for the forest. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shlakya Chakshunamritam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And I offer my respectful obeisance to my spiritual master. With the torchlight of knowledge, Jesus opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance. Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Nena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadate Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavansha Sri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunadanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamitansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Karoti Vacharam Pannamangayate Gurumet Kripatamaham Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Vishnu. Hare Krishna. So, before I begin, I would like to admit that I have no qualification at all, and it is said in the scriptures that by the mercy of the devotees, like HG Sacisuta Prabhu, we get the mercy to speak and share our thoughts. So, those are the only things which will save us from the entanglement of this material world. So I seek all of your blessings so that I can speak and share something which, of course, I have heard from our senior devotees, acharyas, just I'm repeating. So this is a very important passage actually. So we are seeing how senior devotees and His Holiness Robas Maharaj have shared on this Kardama Muni leaving the family for the forest. So he left his wife in the hands of Kapila Muni, who is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Maharaj touched upon yesterday also, Vikishore Prabhu was mentioning. So he is going to the forest by leaving the Supreme Personality of Godhead at home, who is in front of him, and then trying to meditate upon the same personality of Godhead. So, as Maharaj explained, that is because he is showing by his example what is the duty of a person at his age to do actually the duties. So there are a couple of important aspects which Maharaj touched upon, which is, and in these translations and purports, we see that one is he is going to the forest to enhance his spiritual progress, and of course he is a realized soul, but at the same time he is putting his wife in the hands of a qualified son, which is important. It's not like Falgu renunciation where people just want to get out of their responsibilities. Many people in India, particularly in South India, I don't know about the rest of the country, but in South India, they say like, no, I just want to leave family and join sannyasa. It's just to leave the responsibilities. It's not that. Here, Kardama Muni is making sure that his wife is getting the full benefit of Krishna consciousness. How his son Kapila Muni is going to take care of. Kapila Muni, in fact, has told his father that don't worry, I'm going to take care of and make sure that so she is liberated and she is given the knowledge of the Krishna consciousness. So we shouldn't do this false renunciation. And also, if we see the purport, Srila Prabhupada very interestingly starts the purport. Going to the forest is compulsory for everyone. And I was reading this purport and I was kind of, oh, Prabhupada is starting, and then he emphasized it's not a mental excursion. Everybody should go, 100%. Everybody should go to forest and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then later, Prabhupada clarifies that in this age of Kali, it's not really possible or practical to go to a forest and meditate upon. So that is, again, His grace, His divine grace. And Prabhupada is mentioning about not getting caught up or not getting entangled or falling in the deep well in a forest. So if you are falling in a deep well of this material entanglement, is drawing a parallel there, comparison there, you will not be answered even in spite of your cries for years and years of your lifetime. You will end up there. Death is inevitable. The comparison is when we are entangled in the material activities, then it's very difficult for us to come out of it because we develop attachment for the family life. And so it goes on and on and on. And it's very, very difficult for us. The Prabhupada is mentioning their position is very ominous. That means ominous means something bad or unpleasant, which is going to happen. It's threatening actually. But unfortunately, 99% Prabhupada is 99.9% of the people are carried away by this material world and material entanglement throughout the life. And we try to share the Krishna consciousness. It's very difficult. And the time of death comes, what Krishna says, we have to remember him. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. Krishna says. So we have to remember Krishna at the time of death. So how do we remember Krishna at the time of death? Unless we practice. Unless we practice, we will not be able to remember Krishna, or will not be able to cross over this material world. Here also it is said, Prabhupada mentions in the purport, that we are going to meet death ultimately, because that is the end of this material body. So we are going to meet death at the end of this material body. So what is next is what everybody has to think of. That is the fundamental principle. And we as sadhakas, many of us are practicing this process of Krishna consciousness, and we have taken shelter of a guru, and who is going to help us to take us out of this material entanglement. And Prabhupada is referring here in the well. So I remember this parable. Maybe I would have shared previously also. This is about, the cows which are going in a forest. They were just grazing, and obviously, when we are in the group, in the association of devotees, we are always protected. Like these cows are all, they go in a group. And as long as they're in a group, they're protected when they go into the forest. But if some cow goes away from the crowd, they are in danger. So this one cow just goes away, looking for better grass, and then it is away from the group. So the danger of being away from the association is that you are going to be in danger, and It happened so that a tiger traces this. Tigers always look for this, like when some animal comes up, it will be its prey. So it comes and tries to attack this cow. So this cow runs, the cow, how much it can run. Out of fear, of course, it is going at a steadfast speed, but when it was running, it goes into a quicksand. Unfortunately, it falls into a quicksand. Quicksand, it absorbs. The more you move, it keeps taking you inside. And the tiger also, because it was running so fast, it also goes and falls into the quicksand at a distance. And then the tiger is ferociously roaring and looking at the cow and want to eat. And then the cow is very peaceful. It's not at all afraid. It's staying calm. And then the tiger is afraid. Why are you not afraid? So the cow silently says, smiles, and then looks at the tiger and says, like, do you have a master? The tiger becomes much more angry. Says, how dare you ask me? I am the master of this forest. How dare you ask me that I have a master? And the cow smiles. I have a master. So what does it mean? So that you will see, my master is going to come and take me home. He's going to look for me. And lo and behold, at the end of the day, when it is getting dark, the master comes, counts his cows. He doesn't find his cow. He comes to this quicksand. He puts the rope, pulls the cow out of it, and takes it. He saw the tiger, but he ignores. And the cow smiles back and walks away. So what does it mean? So if you read the parable, we are living like tigers, like we are thinking that we are the controllers, we are the masters. Either it is a family, or it is a society, or it is a state, or it is a country. We think that we are the rulers, we are the masters, we are the controllers. And unless we have the attitude of servitude, and unless we take the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, there is no hope. As I started this, I said we need the mercy of the devotees. We need the mercy of the devotees. As it is into His Holiness Radha, mercy means, he says, it's like a mirror. I was wondering why Maharaj is saying mirror, because the mercy is they give the mirror. When they give the mirror, what do you see? You see yourself. That means you will see all your shortcomings when you are practicing along with other devotees. What do you see? Like, I'm lacking in this. And so when you chant, what happens? All the anarthas keep coming out, isn't it? Like it comes into the mind. I'm such a such person. I'm so bad. I'm this. And all these keep popping up, all the qualities. So it's basically showing that mirror for us who we are. And in this specific pastime, what we are listening, there is something to do with Varnashrama Dharma, because here they are talking about the ashrama, which is Kardamani is going in Vanaprastha, or we can say sannyas. So Prabhupada is mentioning about Vanaprastha. In previous reports, Prabhupada said Vanaprastha means both husband and wife, they go together to some pilgrim place, come back, and then like go, come back. So slowly they develop the detachment from the family life. So how is it relevant for us in this current moment, and what are the different Varnashrama systems we have? So His Grace Chaitanya Charana Prabhu, I was listening, and then he's sharing like this. There is something called natural Varnashrama which happens. It used to be in ancient, like there is like nothing like a structured Varnashrama where you all know Varnas and Ashramas. Varnas, there are 4 Varnas: Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, and Shudra. And Ashramas, Brahmacharya Ashram, Grihastha Ashram, Vanaprastha Ashram, and Sannyasa Ashram. So the social order is basically, naturally people fall into these Varna and Ashrama system. People by nature, they are very intellectuals, they're Brahmin community. People who are very much into the, they are aggressive and they're ruling. So they are Kshatriyas, and there are some people who fall into doing business, and some people who are always work and serve the other varnas or other ashrams. So this is how it is like in ancient times. And then came the Vaidhi varnashrama system, where the system is that somebody who is in the lowest ashram, lowest varna, they are going to spend their life by doing the proper duties in that ashram so that they can get elevated to the next ashram. And then they perform in the Vaishya varna, and then they are promoted to the next, and then to the next, which is a long process. And then let's talk about what do we have currently, what varnashram system we have. And it is Asuric varnashram system, as is demoniac. Because what happened, over a period of time, people started taking advantage or doing exploitation of the lower varnas. The Brahminical community, they said they are the top, and then they started exploiting, particularly as HG Prabhuji was mentioning, that this is the main reason that India is suffering, because that is what happened. Like over a period of time, people started ill-treating, and people said you're untouchable, you cannot come, you can't even take water from a well. They said you're not supposed to come, or you're not supposed to take the water from the river, you're untouchable. So they kept them away. So which ruined, and the so-called system has impacted the society so much that it is now unqualified people are ruling the governments. I was listening to one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples. He was telling that when Prabhupada had an opportunity to meet that time Prime Minister Indira Gandhi to share, his Vedic wisdom, and then he's a pure devotee, so he always wanted to. What is a pure intellectual Brahmin does? They always guide the rulers how they can rule the country in a dharmic way. It means as per the principles, Vedic principles. So he made out some list of 10 items he wanted to talk to. And one of the items he noted down is that all the members of the parliament, before they go to the assembly, they should attend Srimad Bhagavatam class. See, that is Prabhupada's mood, because if they attend Bhagavatam class, they will get some kind of a purity and also the knowledge to do the administrative activities. That's how the intellectuals, the Brahmins, used to guide the kings. If you see any of the ancient stories, even from any across the world, if you see, all those kings used to have those intellectual persons as their advisors. And they used to guide us in the time of crisis, in time of, even if we're going to war, the king doesn't take unanimously the decision to go to the war. He consults these intellectuals. What do we do? Whether we go into truce, peace with the other person, or we have to, what we have to do. So they used to always consult these intellectuals. So it's a part of the society. The system is like that. But unfortunately, we have, the leaders who are not qualified. And we have seen time and again what is happening across the world. Like, people go to war for no reason. Our countries are ruined. Venezuela, what happened, we all know. Because of the bad administration, the people are struggling there. The total country is in ruins. And if we don't follow the proper ethical ways, and we don't follow the proper Vedic ways or dharma, what is going to happen is destruction. Destruction of this material world. It's only the time which is separating. The destruction is going to happen. And we are seeing in front of our eyes what happened in the recent earthquake happened. Prabhupada actually made a very strong statement. I was listening, Prabhupada said, all these cities in America and Europe, he was just mentioning those, but across the world, he said all these cities are going to be destroyed. And this we are seeing. And how many of you have heard about Robert Oppenheimer? Oppenheimer. He is the inventor of, like you can say, like one of the people who was a part of the atomic bomb. And so the whole thing was invented for the betterment of the human society. Basically, they invented saying that they will use this energy for the mankind. But again, it fell in the wrong hands and it was used for something else. And he was at that point of a time after the destruction happened, he made a statement from Bhagavad Gita. Actually, it's a fact. He made a statement from Bhagavad Gita. He said, like, no, the time I am, Krishna says, no, he's the destroyer basically. So I'm the man and I'm the destroyer basically. So this is happening. We are seeing in front of our eyes what is happening. Prabhupada attributed all this because of killing of cows. So many slaughterhouses across the world, they are multiplying. And what is the reason? People will come up and say, like, no, you have all the best of the best technologies. We say, like, no, Chat GPT, this AI, that AI, everything we are coming up with artificial. What happened? Nature has given the signals. I was looking, somebody was sharing, like, nature has given signals. The previous day, the birds were all, they were all chirping in the night. They were all disturbed because they could sense already what's happening under the earth, the movement of the plateaus or whatever you call it, earthquake, which is called. They were already disturbed because they could sense, because there is a natural way. Most of them could have escaped because nature is. But with all this technology, we are not able to predict it. Same thing with tsunami. We have so much, advanced technology, but we can't really predict anything. So this is happening. The only way for us is to follow the dharmic way, which is coming in our Vedic scriptures. And very interestingly, I was listening to His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. He was telling the Srimad Bhagavatam, how it started, like Parikshit Maharaj inquiring from Sukadeva Goswami. How did it happen? Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by Shringi, who is a Brahmin boy, because his father, Samik Rishi, was insulted by Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj was very thirsty and he wanted some water. And Samik Rishi was in deep meditation and Maharaj gets angry and then he puts a dead snake in his neck, and Shringi comes and he gets upset and then he curses. And Maharaj is drawing a point from there. He's telling Shringi, being a Brahmin, he should be, first of all, he should be tolerant, he should be forgiving, but instead he took the other side and then he cursed, that too not in proportion. For this small mistake, he did such a horrible curse. And Maharaj saying that deterioration of this Varna system started falling from that time, from Shringi time. And because he made a judgment. He made a judgment which, in Maharaj's words, he said, when you are trying to judge somebody, that means you are taking a position of God. Very powerful statement, Maharaj made. He said, if you are judging somebody, that means you are taking a position of God. And he said, even a spiritual master should not be judging. Because as a servant of the Supreme, he can be in any position. You can be, temple president, you can be a counselor, you can be this, that, but you cannot be judging people. Because even Bible says, if you judge, then you will be judged. So here what he did is he took a judgment against this and then he cursed Maharaj, Parikshit. So that's what happened, and then the deterioration happened slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly. And now we see in this current yuga, right, caste system. The varnas, like higher caste, lower caste. And you'll be surprised it is there in the United States of America. In all the corporates. Who introduced this? Do you know that? It's there in the corporates. We Indians, we introduced it. You see, you can go and see Inter. And all the big corporates, they have these, HR has given those, whatever those, policies or in which it clearly mentions. Because it is a big time.
People of the same caste or Varna, they are favoring the people for their jobs, their promotions, even recruiting. Big time it's happening in the US corporate world. You're not aware?
No. No.
Yes, it's been there for many years in Intel, and now it's even Google, Microsoft, everybody is doing those policy, releasing these policies too. Anyway, so let's not go into that topic, but so it's ruining everything, because then you are biased for everything you do. And also we see some from our Srimad Bhagavatam, we see, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see how somebody who is not following his proper, ashram or varna, what kind of things can happen, just not to him, but the people around him, for the society. Like the example of Ramchandra Khan, how he, tried to pull down Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur is, he is of a lower class, but he is a very great Vaishnava because of his, faith in the holy names, in the way he is chanting. But Ramchandra Khan, he wanted to pull him down, and he sent a prostitute to entice him. And we all know the story. She went 3 days, and Haridas Thakur said, I am doing my chanting, I will fulfill your desires, please wait. And then after hearing Haridas Thakur's pure chanting of the holy names on the 3rd day, she also automatically started chanting, and she gets purified. But what is the impact Ramchandra Khan happened? He even insulted Nityananda Mahaprabhu. When he came to his town, he didn't even let him come into his home. He made him sit outside, and then after Nityananda Prabhu left, and then he washed the whole place, thinking that it is contamination. How much an offense to Nityananda Mahaprabhu he did. What are the consequences? And the Mughal emperor, when he came to the town, he came to know that the taxes are not paid, and then he punished the whole community, just not the person. And then of course he was imprisoned, but the whole family and whole community is punished. This is what happens if somebody is not, it's not just for him or for her, it impacts the whole community. So we have to be cognizant of this fact and then practice this. So actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the first person who brought this Daivi Varnashrama system into our Gaudiya Sampradaya. He wanted to establish this, and then Prabhupada, I was listening, Prabhupada in his initial days, he was not so favorable for this, but as the movement started growing, he said we should also, as devotees, we should start doing this. But it has to be done in a very structured way, which is still in the making, I would say. And very interesting comment for Chaitanya Prabhu was making, like even like the community we are having here, it's a kind of a Varnashrama system, basically, because we are all coming together with a common goal of serving Krishna and serving the devotees, and we are sharing the message of Krishna consciousness, and we are trying to help each other in getting rid of the bad qualities by practicing more and more Krishna consciousness. Even he was mentioning that even like-minded, like devotees, they come together and start a hospital, like Bhaktivedanta hospitals. So that's even adhering to the Varnashrama system. Or some Matajis come together and start the Sunday school, which is also a part of the Varnashrama system, where they are trying to cultivate, because ultimately the goal of the whole Varnashrama system is what? Samsiddhir Haritosha. Ultimately, the goal is all this Varna Ashrama system, Bhagavad Gita. What we hear is basically everything should lead us to Krishna, to develop that love of Krishna by serving the devotees, by being in the association of devotees, by chanting the whole, by taking the shelter of the holy names. That is our goal. The goal of life is. So this is not a must or a necessity, Varnashrama Dharma, but it helps in the soul to go towards the Supreme Soul. As Maharaj was explaining, Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevana. What is the purpose of all these senses? Is to serve the Rishikesh, who is the master of the senses. Sevana means serving. So that should be our goal. And all the process is laid out by our Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. And we have everything is available. We have everything available. We have all senior devotees are available to reach out and get clarifications, questioning. Tadviddhi Pranipatena Parakrishna, Padadikshana, Jnaninas Tattva. The realized souls are all around, and we only have to take advantage of it and approach in a humble mode so that we can progress on this path of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it's very difficult. So I'm at the top of the hour. I would this is one of the prayers my spiritual master likes. I would like to recite that. Sakala Vaishnava Pade Mora Namaskara. Ite Kichu Aparada Nahu Kamana. Hoichen Hoiben Prabhu Jato Bhakta Vrinda. Vandana Kori Sabara Charanaravinda. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas, praying I will not commit offenses in my attempts to please them. To all Vaishnavas who have been, and to all Vaishnavas who will ever be, I offer my obeisances to their lotus feet. So this is a prayer Maharaj likes to offer. So if at all, if I have committed any offenses, definitely I would have committed offenses. So please forgive me as your humble servant, and please bless me so that I will progress in this path of Krishna consciousness. So with that I will end, and if you have any correction, comment, or question, we can discuss.
Very wonderful, very enlightening class. So, my question is for you. His Holiness Allah once made a statement that we realize, in Bhakti, we realize that without God's mercy, there is no hope. There is actually no hope. We are only ultimately mercy of Krishna is doing everything. Mercy of pure devotee is doing everything. That's where is true, 100% true. Even though we are going through like this spiritual problem, like we don't have taste in the holy name, we don't have. Still, we are not crying. Still, even though we know that is the only way, still we are not crying. So, and how to develop this tendency to cry for mercy? Not like only sometimes, but how to have that view all the time, always praying and crying for the mercy of pure devotee. Because we understand there's no other hope. I also heard from another very devoted soul that, like better to beg from someone who can give rather than begging from someone who cannot. Pure devotee may not give so easily, but better to beg from him because he can actually give something. And then instead of that, trying to beg from someone who cannot give, I mean, who may give, but.
Hare Krishna. So he is asking the question for my benefit, obviously, because he is a realized soul and he is in the right place. So, serving the Radha Gopishana Vallabha very dearly. Every day he does Mangalarati. So what he's asking, because just I'm sitting here, he's asking the question. So how the question is for the people who are on Prabhu, Shambhishwar Prabhu is asking, how we get the mercy, how we are not crying for that mercy, and to the people who cannot give or who may not give, but how do we get that mercy? So my 2 cents on this is, mercy is there and it is up to us. What is stopping us is, one is maybe ego. I'm not talking about you, but like many of the souls like me, something is like called ego which stops us. And the conditioning which we have also stops us sometimes even to approach. Mercy is there, but somebody has to, like Srila Prabhupada is giving this example. Somebody is, the host is giving all the ingredients to cook. That is mercy. Mercy is coming. But the guest has to take that and then he has to cook, isn't it? Or if they are giving a plate of prasadam, the mercy is coming. But there is something which the guest has to do. What is that? He has to at least mix and then he has to eat, and that activity he has to do. No? So the problem with, I'm talking again myself, us is that mercy is available, but we are not ready to take it. And as Prabhu said, some may give, some cannot give. If you see, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, whose appearance we celebrated, he went and he was begging Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj for mercy, like to give me shelter. And Gaur Kishore Babaji was just rushing him away. Ramanujacharya, he went 18 times to his Guru to get his blessings, to get his mercy. So whether we are getting or not getting, we have to, somebody is ready to give or not give, we have to continue to endeavor for that and then continue to ask for that. It will come, eventually it will come. But what is stopping is, from my limited knowledge, is our ego and our conditioning, which is, stopping us to take that mercy and, and use it for the right purpose, basically. So that mercy is available. And we have so many acharyas, and particularly in this age of internet, we have everything is available, so many lectures, everything, and you open it and then you see that. And I was just listening about Guru Kripa, who is Prabhupada disciple. He was constantly after Srila Prabhupada, because he is always anchoring that he has this feeling that I am not qualified. Give me mercy. He is telling like out of sadhakas, like somebody, it's out of siddhis, you have kripa siddhi, sadhana siddhi, and so he is telling, I'm not fit for even doing sadhana. Please give me kripa siddhi, kripa siddhi. Because that is the position we have to take, and then keep approaching, the leaders or the spiritual gurus or the senior devotees. And we have to continue that endeavor, and then the mercy keeps coming in different ways. Sometimes in the way of chastisement, sometimes in the way of appreciation, sometimes in the way of service. This opportunity I'm getting to speak is, even though I have no qualification, just because of the mercy of Krishna. So it's not that I'm sitting here, I'm qualified. Because of this talk, at least I will prepare, and then some things get into my mind and from mind into my heart, so that some change would come into me. This I consider as a mercy. This I consider it as a mercy. But the point is, we have to keep trying, and then depending on where we are in our journey towards the Krishna, Krishna is merciful, he'll just, because of just like that, and then who doesn't, all relations, it's all Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy. They want to give like, but we have to cry out. Try to, if you cannot cry, at least try to cry, or make it to fake it. As Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says, because we don't have that, that form, either faith, I would say, because everything is slowly building up. For some people, it's rapid, because of their, whatever karma they have, because of the sukriti or the blessings they have. For some people, they struggle like me, struggle to go beyond. And yesterday, Vilkishore was telling, we came to Krishna consciousness at what age? Maybe 40, 50. He was telling to one of the devotees, your son came, very early age, and then he has access to all this. And that is basically because of the sukriti they had, the blessings they had. And then, similarly, the progress we have, the mercy we get, individually, each one may get it, but again, it is limiting to us, I would say, but it's not on the other side, because it is, onus is on us. Sorry if I'm not able to answer completely.
for the blessings that I'm able to accept mercy.
Thank you so much for your Hare Krishna. Any other comment, question, or? Yes, bro.
Fascinating talk today. So interesting. At one point, you were discussing the deplorable state of material reality, the decay of cities and the sort of descent into a hellish world that is occurring in Kali Yuga. Is that not to some degree desirable?
Interesting question. Your name, Prabhuji?
I'm Thomas.
Thomas. So Thomas probably is asking like, so the degradation and degradation is happening. Is it not on a good terms, basically, like, is it something not? Yeah, it is. It is, because that's how it's going to happen, Kali Yuga, because the more and more the Kali Yuga progresses, the degradation is happening more and more, like, we are deteriorating, So that is as per the prediction, and ultimately Kali comes and then like Kalki comes and then will kill everybody and the whole thing.
It's good. Yes,
Yeah.
we are waiting.
Yeah, that's what we are waiting for. But good part is, we are in the best time of the Kali Yuga. We are the best time of the Kali Yuga, where we have all these things available. As we progress in Kali Yuga, you won't be able to even practice your religion. As we progress, nowadays we are seeing also some places, but now we are in the what is golden age of Kali Yuga. So we are very fortunate, because as it keeps going, it will follow it. So thank you for your question. Hare Krishna. I have to stop here and have your class too. Hare Krishna. And Pranam Agro Shubha Bhara. Jai.